Does your lake, river, or pond, does it have grass in it? What's the hardest part for you when it comes to catching bass in the summertime and grass? Are you overwhelmed about where to start? Or maybe you got a hard time trying to figure out what type of grass you should be fishing. One thing I always struggle with is knowing that I'm fishing the right kind of bait, and I'm fishing that bait the right way in the grass. So listen to this. I think I found an easy way for you to catch bass in the grass anywhere in the country. It's so simple that anybody can follow these 3 easy steps and catch bass in the grass during the summertime. 1.25 ounce tungsten weight. How is that not a bite? Ooh. Oh my God. Did you see him come up out of there? Huh? I don't know if you saw him or not. Work with you on that. Oh, dude, that don't ever start sucking. Okay, I thought this was the perfect video to do a collab opportunity with Exmark. Now, y'all know that I've done a brand deal with Exmark for the last 4 or 5 years. My job is just to show you how to make your yard look better, plain and simple. Now, because there's so many parallels between how grass grows in your yard and exactly how hydrilla, lily pads, water willow, all that stuff that we fish, there's so many parallels between your zoysia, Bermuda, fescue to that I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about both. How to make grass grow in your yard and why you need to fish certain areas on the lake because the grass grows a certain way. When you really get down to it, there's really only 3 reasons that grass doesn't grow in your lake, and there's only 3 reasons that grass doesn't grow in your yard. They're both the same thing. The number 1 reason is light. If you ain't got light, the grass doesn't grow. Number 2, you gotta have good soil. Grass just never seems to grow anywhere there's compacted, rocky, lumpy soil. And then the last thing is water. If you're real serious about having a good yard, you have to have irrigation. All this is gonna make sense when we get out here in the water. Now this one may seem pretty obvious, but you've gotta have good soil for your grass to grow really, really well. Now, right where I'm fishing right now, this is a huge flat. This flat is probably 50 or 60, maybe it's a couple 100 acres, I don't know. It's a huge flat of hydrilla. And when you first pull up on this flat of hydrilla, it all looks exactly the same. But once you get the boat over here and you start fishing around, you start to notice that there's little holes in the grass. Some of it's really thick. You're gonna see some of it's topped out at the surface when you look across here. And then you're gonna see some of it that has canopies that lean over. And when you look at that grass like that, that's all telling you a story. So the grass that's leaned over, that means there's a void underneath it. And even where there's a void on this big flat, it's probably a good chance that there's different type of soil there. It's either rocky, it's compacted, it's more sandy. There's something different about that grass right there where the grass is thinner. Now where the grass is thick, it's probably a good chance it's good old lush, mucky dirt. Which in the fishing world, is most of the time that ain't what we want. Yeah. So if you think about it in your yard, think about where your septic lines are, where it's really soft. You know how that grass is real green? And then you think about somewhere in your yard where you probably drive a car, there's a lot of foot traffic. Usually the grass looks a little bit trashy right there. Well, in the fishing world, we like that trashy grass. We like where it's got the voids and the holes in it. So anytime you see that, that's a good indication there's some type of bottom composition change. There's rock there, there's sand, something's different. And so this whole 500-acre flat starts to become an acre, maybe 2 acres real fast when we start looking at it that way. When we start just to pay attention to the differences inside the grass. Oh, that might be a big one. That might be a big one. I think that's a big one. Please stay over there. Yeah, that's a big one. Holy smokes, that's a big bass. Holy crap, that's a big one. Oh God, dude, holy smokes. What the heck? Look at that thing. Oh my God. Will you look at that? Look at that. Oh my God. Dang it. That's a freaking giant. That is a freaking giant right there, buddy. Holy smokes. I don't even know if all of them is getting in the GoPro. Oh God. That is a 7. Look there, can you read that? 7'9". 7 pounds, 9 ounces. The second element that most of you guys are struggling with in your yard is light. Maybe you've got too many trees, or you've just got too many things going on in your yard that just prevents light penetration from getting to the lawn. And when you get that, you get this bare, stringy, long, thin grass. Now that's not something that we want in our yard, but when it comes to fishing, that can play a factor. All right, y'all see how I'm fishing in this marina right here. Now, one reason I'm fishing in this marina is because anytime you're in a place like this that has grass, you'll notice that there's a lot of shade pockets. There's a void in that grass. Grass on the trees does not grow very well. It's thin, it grows long and leggy, reaching for light. Well, the same thing happens when you're fishing. So right now, I'm fishing around some docks. And all these catwalks, even where the boat sits, that all stops the grass from growing because there's no light. And it creates a void. Dude, did you see it? Did you see how those fish, they're exactly where I was talking about. He was backed up in that little area right there where the boat was. It just creates a huge cavern right here in the grass. I promise, like this works every time. One thing I've noticed is that people are willing to spend a ton of money on fertilizer. They'll spend a bunch of money on chemicals. They'll spend a bunch of money on top dressing, all the really hard stuff. When in all actuality, if you don't have irrigation, if you're not able to keep your lawn watered and you're just depending on Mother Nature to take care of it, you're really not being serious about your grass. So right now I'm out here, I'm fishing this flooded grass flat. And one thing that you'll notice about any kind of lake that has grass in it, it has years where the grass is good, and then it has years where the grass is just not that good. And so typically what happens is when the water gets high, when you got high water, you remember what I talked about with light penetration, and it has a lot to do with oxygen as well. But when the water gets high, a lot of times it kills a lot of the grass because it has no light. But what you hear a lot of people say, especially fishermen, they'll say, well, the DNR sprayed out all the grass. Well, no, they didn't. Probably that season, if you go back and look, probably that season you had a bunch of rain, the water got high, the water got dirty, the grass didn't have any light, the grass was basically suffocated and it died. Now this grass on this flat's good right now, but if you come back here in 6 months, if the water stays at this level, it probably won't be much grass here at all, because it's just going to suffer from light. Now it looks good now. You see, you can tell there's some of this smaller, we call it wiregrass on the bottom, and then some of this taller reeds in the middle, and that's where I'm catching my fish, on some of these taller reeds. Come on, baby. Oh, that's a big one, dude. That's a bass. That's a big one. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's a difference maker right there, cuz. Dude, that might be the biggest bass I ever caught.
That's pushing an 8. Hang on.
Oh God. Oh God.
That's an 8.
Dude, I set the hook on it. I was like, oh, that ain't. I thought it was like. Hey, I hope this makes sense. Hope you can see the parallels between growing grass in your yard and all the reasons that it does or doesn't grow in your yard versus the reasons that grass does or doesn't grow when you're out there on the water, when you're out there fishing. Like, use this information, watch what's going on in your yard and apply that to your fishing. If you want to see more content to help you live your best backyard life, make your yard look the best, go to xmark.com/backyard. We got you covered over there.